What did you study today?
In biology, we have been studying about flowers and parts of a flower. In chemistry, we have studied about atoms and elements. In mathematics, we've studied about ratios and proportions.
Do you think the lessons were successful?
Of course, our lessons were successful.
What about the methodology used by your teachers?
The method was a bit new, but it was a good method because we have had a better understanding of what they were teaching.
What do you think you as students will gain learning in a class when the teacher is using such kind of lessons which are scripted ones?
Number one, the scripted lessons will help us learn more. Number two, the scripted lessons give us an opportunity to interact with one another as students when discussing about the activities. Number three, the scripted lessons help in management of times. Thank you.
Do you think there will be any change within how you were studying?
Of course, the change will happen because we were used to seeing the teacher in our classrooms with chalks on the chalkboard. But now we are using projectors for them to project lessons. They're using simulated experiments and they're helping to save and manage our time.
Do you have any recommendations as far as these scripted lessons are concerned?
Yes, I would recommend all students to appreciate and use the scripted lesson method because it's important and helpful.
The use of scripted lessons, it's going to be easily accessible. My second point is it will help in time management. We'll cover more lessons in a short period of time, and I appreciate that. I love the way we're going to study these days.
Okay, you started the 2 lessons today.
Yes.
What would you improve or would you change within scripted lessons if you were a teacher?
I would change the way I explain. I would come and explain it more, though it's from the projectors. I'll come and explain it more because with the use of the projectors will give us the notes and the simulations too. So me as a teacher, I will come and tell the students. I will help the students be more active. They come and they use the way I'm using, so they can even understand the way the computer skills. They benefit from the computer skills.
I appreciated the way I studied today. Today I started using a projector.
Yes.
I was used to studying in a class using chalks and the blackboard. Yeah.
Did you appreciate the methodology used by your teacher?
Yes.
What do you think about the scripted lessons that the teacher was using?
They're so good. And there are some points that I can tell you about how they're good.
Yeah, tell me.
Firstly, they develop the technology skills of students. Like us, when we use these lessons, these scripted lessons, we develop technology in ourselves and know how to use computers and know more about it.
What do you think you will gain in the classroom as students when you study scripted lessons?
Yeah. Firstly, I talked about the technological skills. And secondly, there are some schools where there is limited laboratory equipments, like the science laboratories. But the simulations that they gave us, the online simulations, they will propose everything. They will show everything, and there will not be any need to go in the laboratories. And it will help us to learn more. Like the group discussions, we discuss more. When we are in the class, we would use 40 minutes.
Yes.
And these 40 minutes, we could only be using the chalk and the chalkboard, but now we'll be using projectors, and the simulations will help us to learn more things in a short period of time.
What do you think can be improved concerning the way script lessons are taught?
Okay, thank you. I'm talking about these scripted lessons when, for example, in the rural areas, like the 9 years based education schools, might not be satisfying them, like the technology equipments, the laboratory equipments like computers. I think the government of Rwanda should improve the equipments in the laboratories.
Today I like how the teachers could demonstrate the experiments on the chalkboard, on the projector, take an example, the teacher of biology. At first the teacher of biology could go on the chalkboard with pieces of chalk, could introduce us what we're going to start today by drawing. It could consume time management was a problem, but today I'm very happy since the teacher could just press on the machine, then the things could be represented on the projector.
What lesson did you deliver today?
Biology.
Biology.
Yes.
What methodology are you using?
I use scripted lesson by using ICT tools.
ICT tools. How long have you been using it?
It was just 2 months.
2 months. Do you think these kind of lessons will help improve teaching and learning of your lessons such as biology?
Yes, of course.
Can you explain a bit?
I have seen that in those 2 months, using those scripted lessons, it is very important.
Yes.
First, it reduces the time. When you are deliver using scripted lesson, use short time.
Yes.
Secondly, the learners are motivated.
Yes.
When you are using scripted lesson, use the simulations, the videos, even the image. Those things motivate the learners when you are teaching them. That means the lesson are understood well when you use scripted lesson.
Do you think anything that can be improved?
Yes.
Which one?
For the materials are not enough.
Yes.
Secondly, the teachers are not trained on that scripted lessons.
Are not?
Trained on that scripted lessons. They don't know how to use them. Number 3, ICT requires the use of ICT tools.
Yes.
It is not easy to master the use of ICT tools. For example, the computers, the camera, the projector. It is not easy to use them. It is difficult.
You organize all decision maker in education.
Yes.
What would you improve as far as these kind of lessons are concerned?
I can try to put the materials in the schools. I can train the teachers, even the head teachers, on how those scripted lessons can be.
Do you like the way students behave in your class?
Yes, they are motivated. When you are teaching using scripted lesson, you see that the learners are motivated, the learners are very attentive. Some students have been challenged with, they are not familiar with using scripted lesson. For that reason, somehow they are not attentive. Even the time allocated, some minutes are not
Well covered. Yeah, thank you. What do you think about the lesson you delivered today?
It was good. It was good. The lesson was fine.
Fine. What kind of methodology did you use?
We have used the scripted lessons, which involves the use of different methods of teaching that involving the 5 E's.
Is it new to you, or you are used to using it?
We've been using it, but not that quite good. Yeah, so we're just learning how we can use this method and employ it in our everyday teachings.
How do you see it now?
It's fine. It's good because, like for example, I was teaching chemistry, which actually involves some of the things which we can't see, but we can be demonstrated, and for us we can't demonstrate them here. So we, by the help of the ICT tools, so we have tried to deliver the lesson and show the students how things are going. For example, I was teaching about the components of the atom. That means what composed of the atom. So sometimes when you tell a student that the atom composed of electrons and what, they could not understand it. But maybe if we try to demonstrate it, for example, we have used the assimilations from the FAWE. So those assimilations, we've showed the students how the electrons they are arranged, how the protons are arranged, where do we find them, and that makes the lesson understandable and easy for the student to grasp the content.
Do you think it helps implement CBC?
Exactly.
How?
Yeah, because CBC, it's about the understanding the content and the putting it in practice. So when you have understood and when you have seen some of the applications of the content, then it helps the learners so to be able to go out and they become competent.
Compared to the traditional teaching methodology, do you see any improvement with script lessons?
Yes, it is there. It is there.
Can you explain a bit?
Yes, in the scripted lessons, we do have some videos and visual pictures and photos which shows the student exactly what is being taught. So when we show a student some videos, we can create some videos which students will see. Two, there is also some schools do not have we are not able to have some of the equipment in the laboratory. For example, chemistry is a lesson of practicals, involves a lot of practicals. So sometimes we need to show the videos where we don't have those materials and the chemicals that we can use.
I was following your lesson,
yes,
and I may have realized that the sound of your video was not quite out. Is it how it is set, or it is one of the challenges you are facing?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge that we are facing because we don't have the loudspeakers.
Loudspeakers.
The video that I was playing, it has just low volume because I was using the computer. The computer, the sound was from the computer. So that it could be better if we have the loudspeakers which can help us to hear.
Are there any other challenges that you are facing that would like to be addressed?
Here, the challenge is because if you have seen those in the videos, simulations, it's me who played them. I played the simulation, but that was not it wasn't me who was supposed to play them. They were supposed, just the student themselves, to play with it and learn how those scripted. I think that is the one way of helping the learners.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Charles Kamisha. I teach mathematics at FAWE Girls School.
How do you assess your today's lesson?
It was wonderful. It was enjoyable.
It is edible.
Yeah. My students were interacted with the lesson. So we were motivated. Since we used simulations in our subjects, in my subject, and then that motivated the most. They were active in my class.
Because of your teaching methodology or anything
that's
else?
the use of ICT in my lesson. That's why they are motivated most.
What kind of methodology did you use?
Yeah, I taught scripted lessons by applying 5 E's in my lesson. Yeah.
Do you think these scripted lessons will help improve the way lessons are delivered at a secondary school?
They are very, very important because they are integrated with the way of teaching the content. They have the content which is accurate, and in those scripted lessons we use ICT tools like projectors, like computers, and also we use internet. So by use of internet, we play simulations and videos so that learners can learn from those videos and simulations so that they can understand the content. Then the content which is complex and then can be simple to them.
Okay, thank you. What are the strengths and weaknesses of this methodology?
Yeah, okay. From the strength, the learners will benefit most because most of the time you can see some schools don't have science laboratories. So when you play a video or simulation, and then that will assist those schools that don't have science laboratories. And then secondary, the lessons are interactive, meaning that learners are motivated, and then the content will be delivered well, and so that it will be very well understood. And then the challenge is that the lessons require the use of ICT tools, which are not enough in our schools. So most of the schools, they don't have projectors, computers, and also the teachers.
Is that the point of strength or
the
weakness?
Yeah, on the weakness. Some schools don't have enough computers, enough projectors, and also the teachers are not well trained on the use of those materials, on those ICT tools. So on my recommendation, I recommend the Ministry of Education and in partnership with REP to train more teachers on how to use ICT tools and then how to use the scripted lessons in their classrooms.
Do you think they should only improve by training teachers, or there are any other points that may be strengthened?
Okay, the teachers will also need to be trained on the content matter, and then after, then they will be trained on how to teach the scripted lessons, and then after, and then they train them how to use ICT materials, like computers, like how to get simulations from online, and then they integrate them in their content.
What about the students' motivation vis-a-vis this teaching methodology?
Yeah, students are motivated enough because they do the activities in groups so that they exchange ideas and then come out with answers. So they help each other, and then after helping each other, so that one develops the critical thinking of each and every student. And then secondly, when the videos and simulations which are integrated in our subjects, when the videos when you play a video, and then that video will help the learner to learn more, and then when the content is complex, and then it will be simple for each learner. Yes.
Is there any recommendation to the Ministry of Education, REP, or College of Education that
new teaching methodology is very good? So I recommend the Ministry of Education to provide more ICT devices so that teachers and students can benefit from them. Secondly, I would say that teachers are not familiar with this new method of teaching. So teachers should be trained on how to teach these scripted lessons. Then the last three, the teachers should also be trained on how to use those devices. Then they can use them where they don't have science laboratories. So when they have computers and the projectors, and then they will work hard.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.